Hey everybody, Bryant, restaurant consultant, author, and coach to coaches, back to introduce you to a new segment in our 6 Ps. Going to go through the 6 Ps again really quick. We've got people, product, process. We have positioning, your marketing and branding part. We've got protection, how to keep the brand safe, how to do everything you can to make sure that you grow in a healthy way. And last but absolutely not least, and maybe the byproduct of all these, profit. But today, I'm going to start by introducing you to the concept of product. Now, in previous discussions, we've talked about how all of these 6 components create our ecosystem. So what you're going to see and hear is a lot of overlap. When we talk about branding, we're going to talk about the brand is everything that the customers touch, see, interface with. When we talk about food and product in particular, you're going to hear some similarities in what we talk about. I don't want that to be a distraction. I want that to really kind of clear the landscape for you so you can identify how this is an ecosystem. The beauty is when you work on one thing, other things become the byproduct or the residual. As each one of these steps gets captured by you and your business, the other thing that you're going to realize is, hey, along the way, focusing on people, focusing on product, focusing on my hiring process, on retention, on cultivating, on my org charts, as we do all of this stuff, what you're going to find is you're capturing processes all along the way. But the concept today, what we're going to talk about is product. And what is product? What does it represent? The category in itself is not as ambiguous as it would seem, and I want to get really detailed about what product is. A lot of us can be kind of one-dimensional when we enter the space. I have a really unique product. I've got really cool food or a really cool idea, or I found or identified a really good gap in this environment, in the marketplace in general, that I can swoop in, make a ton of cash, and get out. How's that working out for you? For most people, if you're looking at it in a one-dimensional way, if you think you can just make an amazing product, open the door, and they're going to flood in, I will tell you the majority of people do not find success with that formula. It's got to be about this entire ecosystem, and then you got to take your product one step further. It's not just the food you put on the plate. What's the imagination behind it? What's the inspiration behind it? What is your product in general? Is your product just food? If you're a food truck, you might get away with your product being just food. But if you're an actual freestanding brick and mortar restaurant and you think the food is going to do it all, I'd urge you to consider what all of your product is, just like what all your brand is, all that customer interfacing dynamic that you have. So your brand and your product. Your product, it's the food. But it's the name of the food. It's the menu itself and how it's positioned and how it ties into the brand. It's your people. It's the presentation of what they look like. It's their articulation. It's their training. It's the language. It's the nomenclature. It's the nuance and rhetoric that they all use to embellish the brand, right? That is your product. The way that the restaurant looks, the way that the plates are imagined, or the delivery vehicle. I don't care if it's a pie tin or a paper bag. All of that is your product. So I'm only sowing this seed today so that you can get ready for upcoming videos and understand the baseline of what product is, and you can try to reimagine everything that you do. All of this leads to branding. When you have a very, very clear concept of who you are, and everything that you do in product fits and complements the brand, you will absolutely be better for it. Consider your favorite restaurant. Consider restaurants, whether they're your favorite or not, but the ones that are popular, the ones that are crushing it, the ones that are really unique to the landscape. And ask yourself this: do they know who they are? Drop my remote. Do they know who they are? And by virtue of that, does everybody else know who they are? So that's clarity, and clarity is a big part to all 6 of these Ps. Know who you are, and you know what kind of people you want to attract, both from the customer side and from the employee side. Know who you are, and you know exactly what kind of food you're going to serve, what your environment's going to look like, what the plate and the presentation is going to be, how the menu is going to be scripted and crafted. Know who you are, and you'll have a better chance to capture your processes successfully. Now, the only thing I'll kind of digress a little bit and talk about when it comes to process is doing it's one thing. Capturing it so you can train other people how to do it is a far bigger impact than anything you could probably ever learn. I will tell you personally, It's the best concept I ever learned about what I do. In fact, it's the reason why I'm making these videos. When I work with clients, as I've said before, I can turn them on to a host of videos that I want them to watch in our presentation package. When I say, okay, here's the game plan, here's what we're going to do, and we're going to have our execution meetings in a week based on where I identify your needs and your gaps. I want you to go watch this video, that video, and this video. That allows me to be in multiple places at once. I can send these videos out to a whole host of clients. And this isn't about me, but it's about the idea of process capture. As you open 1 restaurant, 2 restaurant, 3 restaurant, when you start to become outnumbered by the number of restaurants you own or run, operate, manage, how can you be in multiple places and have an expectation that everything's getting done? So again, the process, believe it or not, boils down into the training, and the training is your product. How does that look? How does it present? What does it teach? So I think you're starting to pick up the theme here about what product is and what goes into it. And if I look up at the board here, I'm trying to see what other things relative to product we have. Well, I guess that's about it. A nice, short, sweet introduction to product, and hopefully something that gets you stimulated and going. In the next video, I'm going to talk about that point of differentiation in product presentation and delivery, and how you can do one of 3 things. You can do product better, you can do product different, or you can shoot for the stars and fuse those 2 together. Do it better and different than anybody else in your landscape, and I promise you, if there's any demand for that product whatsoever, you will crush it. Anyway, Bo Bryant, appreciating you guys sitting down and taking a listen and a look today. And remember, we all get better when we all get better together. My purpose for this is to make the industry better. I hope you appreciate the free content. Check out more information at bobryant.com. Until next time, I'll see you and I bid you farewell.